Okay, so welcome to the second part of our lesson from where we stopped last time. So I decided to record the second part because we need to get some things ready before we meet in our class, or at least get them ready and have them in your Code Hills app 1001. And if you remember from previously, we've got up until the stage where we kind of have, the enter password, username, and then we don't really have a confirm password. So we're going to add a confirm password. We're going to add a done button because we do need one. And then we're also going to be adding a submit button. So we're going to do a couple of those. Then we're going to create a function, and the function is going to be there because we need to be able to check if the password is actually there, like if they've typed a password and if the password is of a certain length and if the password and the confirmed password match. We also do need to put something very intuitively where they can actually log in. So you could either put that in your down below here, because that could work perfectly, where you would have something down below here, which I'm probably going to show you how you can edit this. But at the bottom here, you would have an option that can be able to say log in, right? Like when they're logged in. So that could be another thing, like not logged in, sorry, a log in option. So that could be a smart thing to do, or you could just put it as a label down below, which I probably might end up putting it as a label or even have it as an option. So it really depends on what you want to do. I probably might just have the confirm password obviously is going to be here, and then I probably would have a login, a done, and a submit button. Or I could have a done and a submit button on the sides and in the middle like a login. So it's really depending on how you want to do it. So let's get back into the coding aspect. So for the coding part, I'm going to, this was something I said I was going to do a tutorial for, which I'm doing right now. So I'm going to keep my comment line in here, as you already know. I probably also would remove my multi-line commenting. And again, we do need like a label for the confirmed password. However, the last label we had was label 3 for the password. So this could be label 4 as the name of my object of my label. And this obviously, I'm not going to put anything in here because it is a password, right? So we don't want to put anything in that parentheses. Oops. So let's just continue on from where we stopped. So label 4, it's pretty much the same thing that we did in our class last time about the password. It's the same thing. Have a label that's going to write confirm password over here and then just have a text box. Really the same process. So I'm just going to be changing things. And obviously, because the label is going to move more towards the right side, like it's supposed to come over here. So therefore, the x coordinate is going to be more towards the right. So this means that my label, instead of having it as 350, the last one for my label 3, which was for the password, was at 600. So I probably can take this one to maybe 800 and see how that's going to look like. And then I want to sort of keep that label on the same like level. So it's like 450, 350. If you notice, like here is 350. Sorry, I'm talking about the label. Going back to the username, you notice that the y coordinate, sorry, because this is the x coordinate. So the y coordinate is the same for username. It's the same for password because they all are on that level, right? So that's the y coordinate. And we want to keep it the same for the confirmed password. So I'm going to still keep my y coordinate to 350. I'm not going to change. Just be careful that when you create an object of your label, I called my object label 4. Just make sure you're doing that for all of everything else. So now for the color, I will use the same color. I think I mentioned this, that if you're creating a color object and you really want to use the same color for the text I'm talking about, the same color of text, which obviously you should to keep the consistency, then you don't need to create another color object. You just use the same color. So I'm going to get rid of this one because I'll just use the same color object as the one above for password and for username, and also just change this to label 4. So everything else becomes label 4. And your main panel should add your label 4 as well because that's going to be your confirmed password. Now, once that's done, the next thing you want to do is now create a text box for your confirmed password. So let's do that. Text box for this. And of course, now this text box, the last one we did for the password was text box 2. The first one was text box 1. So this one's going to be text box 3. Let's change that over to text box 3. And if you're wondering why we're having a red line, I think that is very explainable since we did this before. And if you remember, if you go back up, right, we did go all the way up. When we were talking about using static, we said it's always a good idea to create a widget that you're going to be putting on your program and make it static, because then it means that you can access it anywhere in the class. So if you're seeing a red line, which means an error on text box 3 for the confirm password, that's just because you don't have a confirmed password. By the way, please, I forgot to say the label. I removed it in the wrong place. Please put confirm password here. The one I wanted to take out was this one so that it doesn't write anything on the text box, which, like, I don't want it to write something like this, enter your password on the password text box or the confirm password text box, because yeah, we don't need to. That's just a place for password. So I'm going to take that out for the J password field. And if you remember, because we're doing password, we're not going to do J text field. It's going to be J password field, just like what we did here. Again, back to what I was saying about the static. I said you need to make your text box 3 a static. You can call it anything you want. I just called mine text box 3. But if you prefer to call it something else, then go ahead. So I'm going to write text box 3 and then, of course, semicolon. This means I've already declared and created. This is called declaration, by the way. So I've just declared my password text box. That's going to be for confirm password. And that's what I pretty much have here. So now I'm not going to make it a J text field. It's going to be a J password field, right? So because it's now a password, it's not a text field. So that way, everything looks good now. I've created the text box, declared it at the top. Make it static means that I can use it anywhere I want, just like I did with text box 2. So you realize that the red line has gone completely. Right? So don't forget that we also have these lines at the end. Remember, I told you keep them at the very end because this is really what shows your frame and your panel and everything else. Now, once you've put your text box, the text box has to be underneath your confirm password label, meaning that you have to have the same X because it's underneath on the same X, but it goes down below from this, right? So it's not going to be 350, it has to be down below and sort of has to be in the same like level as this one. So you can put it all on the same level. And if you noticed, that goes for like the password field. It's like 450 for the one that was just password. That was the Y coordinate, and it was also 450 for the username. That was the text box I'm talking about. Okay, so the text box for username was at the Y coordinate of 450, and the one for password was at the Y coordinate of 450. So if you're looking at it, it means it has to be the same. What really changes for the text box is more of the X coordinate because you're moving this at I believe we set it at 800. So this means it's going to be 800 so it can match and be underneath the confirmed password, but then it will be on the same Y coordinate just as the password and the username. That means on the same like level right here. So Y because it's coming down, right? But the X is going to move more to the right side. So at this point, you're really done. Once you've done this, obviously make sure you add this. Don't make a mistake and not change this. So this is text box 3. As for the font, remember we talked about the font and we said that that's really like when you create a second font object. So you're changing the style of writing that's going to go inside of the text box because we did have the first font object and that was used more for like the title, right? We use it more like for the labels, I mean, that was like the titles. And then the second font object, we're using it for like when the user is typing in the boxes, the type of style of text. And so that's what we use for the username and for the password. So at this point, you can actually check your program because you finished inserting your confirmed password and, oops, sorry about that. That was a mistake. Yeah, so you finished inserting your confirmed password and your text box for it. So you can come and run it and see if everything is done properly. Stop the run and clear your past runs, of course. I always like to come to workflow to just run the VNC because really that's what I need. I don't want to run a bunch of things in here. So go back to your VNC and then see your output, okay? And boom, there you have it. Well, my boxes are very close to each other, so I feel like I need to move this more towards the right because I do have space, as you can see, right? So let me zoom out a little bit. It is showing me my component in there. Let's zoom out like to 90% so you can see this. So as you can see, my component is showing like here, as you can note, as you notice, but it's too close to the boxes are too close to each other. So I definitely need to move more to the right side because I do have space. And it really depends where you want to and how you want to arrange it. I'm moving more of like a flow layout where things are more arranged in a horizontal sense. However, you can arrange it in a vertical sense. You just have to play around with the X and Y coordinate. So what I'll do is I'll shift this more like 850. Let's try 850 and shift it more towards the right side. So the more positive X is, the more it goes to the right. So what I'll do is stop it again, clear my past runs, come over, run my code, and come back to VNC and see what's going on right now. So now it looks much better, even though it's coming out of line. Yeah, so that's something we can definitely fix a bit more. So how I might want to fix this is first of all, I want to bring this slightly down. So that means my Y is going to be more positive coming down. Remember, I talked about like when you come further down, you increase more in the positivity. So what I'll do, I just want to rearrange this a little. Again, play around with what you have. So I probably will bring my Y coordinate to like, let's try and see 400. I'm doing this for the username, right? And just do a little adjustment and see how you like it first before you adjust everything else. So I'm running it again one more time, and I just want to see how my username is looking like. Like I brought it down a lot. So you see the change? I think it's looking good. However, I might just maybe want to stick to like, instead of going like really down for 400, maybe I should try 350. Like 350. Okay, 350 was what it was. Let's try like 370. And I think I might do that for all of them. So that's the Y coordinate. 370 for password, 370 for confirm password, right? And now I kind of want to shift it more towards the left side because I feel like I need that space to sort of not look like this. So I want to shift this more towards the left a little bit. So I'm going to reduce my X coordinate and try to do it like 320 and pretty much do the same thing for the like both the label and also the text box if you noticed. And then for the password, I kind of want to take it instead of 600, maybe try 580 or something, like a 20 pixel difference or, yeah, moving position. So 580 for the password label and then 580 for the text box. And then maybe here, I kind of want to go for 820, right? Or 830 maybe. Let's try that, 830, and see like what the change would be. And I think other than that, I did like move my Y to 370. So kind of let's see how that looks like because that's kind of going to be, I think I need to go 370 on that because, well, it's moving. No, 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 450. Let's keep it the way it is. Actually, let's keep that the way it is because that's the Y coordinate. Let's just see how things are looking at this point. Clear past runs and then come over to run the VNC. Now on my VNC, let's see how stuff is looking like. Oh, I think that's looking way better. That's like kind of on point. Although I would like to take my password slightly to the right, so I think I would do something here where my password maybe goes like 570 or maybe 575 to sort of be on that section. So I'm going to clear past runs and I'm going to run again and let's see what happens. So coming back into the VNC, I think I have, okay, 570. Sorry, my bad. I think I made it go more to the right instead of to move it more to the left. So I did 570 then 575, but that's moving it more to the right side. You have to reduce it if you want to go to the left because X is negative towards the left. So I'm doing 565 now, and I'm gonna stop it and then clear past runs and then run my VNC again. So let's have a look and see the difference now. And it should make a difference. Yeah, almost there. I feel like I should go for 555 then, like more towards, and I'm doing that for password, by the way. I want this, oh, am I doing that for the label? Oopsies. I'm actually doing that for the label, but that's okay. I could just do it. I was supposed to do it for the text box. I wanted it to move more to the text box for the password. So I want this one to move more, slightly more here. So anyways, just adjust it till you find it suitable for you. I'm just doing my adjustments. And let's see what it looks like right now. Okay, I think it's good enough. I think it's fine. It's okay. I probably again might want to shift this a little bit more to the left because I was moving it. So it was like 570. So let's just get it back to 575. I'm talking about the label. So I'm talking about this one. Like I want to move it a little bit because I was adjusting it instead of adjusting the text box. I thought I was doing the text box. So now that I'm running this again, let's see how everything looks like, and it looks way better. So I think I'm happy with the results. Now you can just type out, try it out and see. I'll type in my name and then I'll type in my password. You see that it's now masking the password. That's because we use the password field. Everything looks good and in place. So now I need to put my button. One's going to be the done button, one's going to be the submit button, and in the middle will be the login button. All right, so let's go put in buttons right now. So to put in buttons, we would obviously have to do this stuff. I like to put in my buttons, put your comments, and I'll start off with my done button, right? So I'll go with the button stuff. I'll go J button. That's how you put in buttons, by the way. The first one is going to be the done button equals to new J button. Now, again, I remember I talked about the whole writing this, putting static and stuff. For the buttons, we don't need it anywhere else in the class. So I think just having it here and not making it static like I did it with I did it with the text boxes and the password fields, because that we will need it somewhere else if we're trying to like validate and check if what the user has entered, is it password correct, or is no repetition happening. So for now, anyways, I'm putting in my buttons, so I'll do the done button, and now I need to position the button. So the same thing really is happening. So set bounds, and then where do you want to place it on the X? So I want to go further to the right, to the left, sorry. So I probably want it to be like underneath this text box for the username. So where was my username's text box? It was like at 320. So I pretty much might want to keep it there. So like say 320, and I needed to come further down from the user text box. So that was at 450. So let's say I want to take this one to 550. How long would the button be? Let's say 240 pixels long width and then 40 pixels height. Let's just keep it like that and to see how that looks like. So very similar to sort of what we've already done in terms of like the text boxes for the password, confirm password. The next thing I want to do is obviously the text style. You can have a different font. I will go for font 1 for this one, but you can create a different font object. So set font, and then you could do set foreground if you kind of want a different color. Like again, you've got to create like I don't know, create a different color for if you're going to go for something else other than the color object you have here. Remember that you can go over to the Coolers website. I think we've gone there before. Just a quick reminder, coolers.co, if you want like different shades of color and maybe you want the text on the button to be different. So if you go to the Coolers website, you can just like really switch through colors and see which one you like. I don't know. I think I might go with the Rwandan flag. So I might go with a blue and golden glow. I think so. So let's say I do like a set background. I might do like a done button dot set background. Like I want to do a background color. And like, okay, what will my background color be? Obviously, I'm not going to do like a color object thingy. No, I'm going to change that because I want a different colors. So I'm going to do one color. So it'll be like back color, one color object that will be for my back color, and then one that will be for my text color. So text color, and this is like mostly from my button, okay? So I'm creating two color objects that I want to set for the background and the text. So I might go with some flag colors from Rwandan flag. I mean, you could go with anything you want, really. I might go with like a blue, let's say like a blue, sort of bluish. If you go over to the Rwanda flag, you can have a look at the color and just pick, your colors. So I just kind of want to go with that bluish, which I saw sort of somewhere, like a fresh sky blue, and that might go with this color. And I would go with like a yellow. So the fresh sky blue, let's get the RGB. Go for the picker, go for the RGB. It's 57, 169, and 219. Okay, so 57. That's going to be my back color. 169, And then, of course, what's the other one? Oops, that's the 219. So 219. Okay, so that's my back color. Let's look for the yellow color in here. I need that. So let's go over colors. I need the yellow sort of color. Let's click on, oh, I saw something. Oh, no, that's not the yellow. I need this type of yellow, the bright yellow. So I go with the yellow one. So the yellow is, again, remember you're on picker ARGB, red, green, and blue. So that's the color 251, 255, 18. So 251, 255, and 18. Okay, so that's going to be my text color. So pretty much that. And I've flipped that now. I'm just going to set my font. So the font will be the same font I kind of like already had from the beginning, like the font one. If you remember, we had a font object called font1, and I'll just keep it to that. I'm talking about this one. So the sizing is 25. I think it's fine. I might actually reduce the size of my button because I feel like it might be too long. So I might go for 220. Let's see. And then finally add this to the main panel. Don't forget to add your button that you just created to the main panel. So this button is called what? It's called done button, right? And then put a color. Oh, and by the way, please don't forget to change these color objects so that it applies the color that you created, back color for the background for me, and then the text color for the text color for me. So I've done all of that. That should look okay. Now, this is my first button. Just try to be organized. And so this button is my done button. And then I just copy paste and I'll do the login button because that's the one that goes into the like middle. And then I'll do the last one, which is the submit button. Okay, so that's what you need to do. So just copy this in here and then just paste it in there down below here. And then, of course, do the same thing for the submit button. Be organized in the way you're doing your coding. And then all you need to do is just change, this is going to be my login button. I do need to add like an object listener. Like I need an add listener in here, by the way. So I probably would like to do something like a done. I'll explain what this is going to be. So it's going to be like add action listen. Oops. Oh, that was what I wanted. Action listener. And action listener means like when the button is clicked, something's gonna happen. So I'm gonna go for like this action listener and then like open curly brace and then like close that. And I probably would like end this over at closing it with a parenthesis and like semicolon. So I just want you to do this, just keep it there, okay? Just have that there for the done button. That means when the done button is clicked, something's gonna happen. So for now, make that happen that way. Just keep it like that because when the done button is clicked, something is going to happen. And then let's do the login button. So just make sure you have that change. So login button, this is obviously going to be login. Okay, and then I pretty much want to keep the same kind of, I'm not going to repeat the color objects. If you want to use the same color objects, you can even do this and keep your work neater. You can take it out from here because you're going to use these color objects, okay? And then you can just create like a nice place for them because you want to use the same colors for all the buttons and put them there. And really, anytime you want to use them, you can just only put them and call them. So that's another way to organize this code, unless you want to create like different colors for that. So, and then here you got to go for a login button. And then of course here you also want to go for login button. And then of course you want to change the name of your object to login button and the same font. And this time make sure you add login button. And of course, you want to move your button more to the middle. So you're going to have to move your X coordinate. The Y coordinate can stay the same as what you've set the first button, which is the done one, because you're putting them on the same level, unless you want to change that. So I'm going to keep my Y button the same, but my X is going to move more in the middle. So let's say I try 450, okay? So I'm trying that. Okay, now let's delete this. Let's do the submit button. And then don't forget to, again, just be very, very attentive to any red lines because that means you have errors. So this one is now going to be when they click submit, which is where it will check the password that has been validated. Like validated meaning that like it's being checked to see that both passwords and confirm password match. The password is not less than 8 characters and they didn't just leave it blank. So there's like those type of checks that we're going to do in our class together. So I don't think I will do that in this video, but we'll do it in the class together. So I'm going to do submit here. And what else do I need? Okay, so it's more to the right side again, so more X. So let's say I go with like 650 and let's see how that's going to be. And then again, submit again. Don't forget that. And then again, change the object to submit right here. And then add that to the submit to the main panel. And that's pretty much it. So once all of this is done, go back and check your program, see how everything is looking like so far. And again, you can play around with like adjusting the buttons and putting them where you want. For now, let's see how mine looks like. And from there, you can make slight adjustments. So based on mine, oh, everything looks almost okay, and my back button isn't showing the color. So the blue isn't really showing. I can see that the buttons are okay, but I need to raise them higher. So that means I need to come back and make a slight change to the code. My buttons need to go higher into the box. As you can see, they're coming out of the box. They need to go into the box. So my Y coordinate needs to be adjusted. So this means that I will need to maybe change this one to, instead of 550, let's do 450, 450. And I also need to move this even more further to the, look at what's happening. The login is too close to the to done. It needs to go more further to the like right. So I probably might go 550, like a big difference in there. And I might go here as 650. And again, of course, I need to move this to 450 because it's like way out of the box. Oh, wait. What did I do? Pay attention. Oh, my button for the done button is 320. I believe that X is fine. For the X for the login, it's the one that I wanted to go 450. I believe that's also fine. But the Y coordinate was the one I went 450. So probably that one is the one that I need to like adjust because it needs to like go back up higher. Let's see how everything is looking though so far. I'm kind of curious to see what's going on. We also have to talk about the color because that color is not reflecting. So let's go back into the buttons. Oh, the buttons are way like up now. So we definitely need to like adjust the buttons. So they're way up to up. So that means let's try 500 or let's say 520. That's for the Y coordinates. And let's try 520 for all of them because they're going to be on the same Y. What really makes them difference is the X. So 520, 520, and 520 as well. Just be careful when adjusting and then go and try it again. See how everything looks like. Run again. I'm curious to see how this is going to look like. So let's look at that. Okay, that looks way better. Done is okay. Login, well, I think done is perfect. Login needs to go, and then my submit is kind of disappeared. Okay, so my submit is disappearing because it's on the same place as my X for login. So it needs to go like more to the, so let's do 550 or 560. And then login, actually, login needs to go on the Y coordinate. I believe login is fine. So we don't adjust the Y, but we adjust the X now. So I think login should go like, if the X for this is 320 and so 450 is kind of colliding with that, let's go 550 and let's go here as 650. And then the Y coordinates can stay the same because the Y coordinate looks pretty okay. So let's run this and see how everything is looking like right now. Let's do a quick run and see what's going on. Okay, coming on. Okay, it's looking way better. I still need to move my login like way to the side again. So I'm going to like move it more on the X to like 650. And I think one thing I also want to do is that the length of these buttons are pretty long. So I want to make it 180, the pixels, like how long the boxes are. I feel like they're very long. So I need to make it shorter. So I'm making it 180, 180. So you get the idea of what you're going to do. You really just need to adjust it. And then, of course, I'm going to move it more to the right. Don't touch the X. Don't touch the Y, touch the X. So the one for the like the done is fine. I'm not going to touch that one. That's okay. But for the login, I pretty much may just want to try now that I reduced the size. Let's see how it actually looks like. So let's do a little run again. And then you can like adjust it accordingly. And most importantly, the color as well, right? My color isn't showing. Okay, that's looking way promising than before. So I'm going to move it significantly more to the right, like make it 650 for the login. And then maybe for this one, make it like 750, like a big gap. So that might be too much, but you get the idea. So you just really need to adjust it up until like where you see it suitable for you. And that's like kind of where you adjust it and just play around with the X and Y. So I think it's too much. Okay, so yeah, that's basically too much. So let's go for 580 and let's go for 620. And also, let's figure out what's going on with the back color. So the back color is 57, 169, and 219, right? And my background is just still the same color. So if we go back to the back color, I believe, let's just try something else, like 154, 52, 142. 154, 154, 52, and 42. Let's just try that and let's see what's going to happen. So that's going to affect everything else, like for the background, set the background color. So that was the back color. Let's try and see if that's going to have any effect. So I'm going to stop this from running, clear my past runs, run it again. And when I come over to VNC, let's see. Okay, so my back button, my background color isn't showing. Fixing this is right now, our button isn't, you know, is not placed where we want it to be. And also the background color isn't showing for the button. So there's a couple of things. So this is like how my button looks like right now, right? And I like the situation going on with the size for me, but I need to move like to submit. So let's solve the issue whereby I move the button submit over here first, and then we'll solve the background color. So what I'll do is I'll take my submit button more towards the right side. So I'm going to probably go at, so right now it's at 700, where X is 700. The Y's are going to stay the same because they're all the same level. So let's say I move it all to like 850. That might be too much. Let's try 750, something like that. So I'll go on to my VNC, well, my console, stop that in, clear my past run, and then go to workflow and just run it over. And once I do, coming back over to my VNC, I will see that it's now moved to the more there. Okay, maybe 850 was a good idea. Let's try that. So 750 is like a little bit of a move, but let's try 850 to make it like significant. So you don't keep, wasting a time going, coming back, trying again over and over again. So now I have my VNC moving, my VNC showing. I think that's great. I think my button is okay. You can always move your button even more. Like perhaps personally, I might prefer moving my like login a little bit more to the middle and maybe my submit a little bit more to the right. So like personally for me, that's what I might do. It really depends on how you want to see it. Now, how can we fix the background color? So something I forgot to mention was that you can use set opaque or opaque, however you want to say that. That's really a function that makes the, and I actually want to move my done button now that I see this. Give me a moment. Let's try moving it to 360. The done button, I mean, like a little bit more to the, or maybe 340, a little bit more forward, like inside than where it is right now. So sort of it looks like a little bit aligned, I guess you can say the word. Yeah, I like it this way now. So, okay, background. So everything looks okay up until here. I guess the only thing that's left for me is like the background, right? So the background for this, how you can fix it if it's not showing is just come back to where you set the background here, and you're going to use this word called done button dot set opaque or opaque, and you're going to set it to true. And you also can do the done button dot set border painted. And that's like taking out the border. If you don't want a border in your in your button, you don't want a border, you just have to do this as well. So because if you notice, like when I click, there's like a border or something. If you just don't want a border, if you don't want these borders like showing over, you can take it out. That's what I'm saying. And so this would help to make this background show. When you say set opaque to true, it just enables custom background. So set opaque or opaque. Basically, what it does is that when you say true, it makes the background color visible. And when you set the border, so this one is removing any border around the button. Okay, so this is really what's happening. So what you will do is copy these two lines of code, copy that, paste it underneath the back color section right here. Do the same for this one. And that's it. There you have it, right? So once that's done, the next thing is talk about what was this meant for. So this one, what it was meant for was to well, we need this for the done button, and we also need the login button as well. So let's add the listener. So the listener basically means that when you click on the button, something is going to happen. Okay, so that's what listener is meant to do. So you will just put an object in of your listener, and pretty much the same thing with this like dash. If you're wondering what this is, it's just a hyphen and your forward like greater than sign on your keyboard, and then you just open curly brace, and then you're basically specifying that once this is clicked, something is going to happen. And what's going to happen? Well, that's where we can determine when the done button is clicked, then we're going to open a new method that will basically verify if the password and the confirmed password match, if the length of the password is not less than 8, and if they're not left blank. And for this one, when they click login button, it's just going to switch the whole window to the login page, or to the pretty much what I'm planning to do is that it's just going to be the exact same thing, only this time you just do username and password for login. And then when the submit button is clicked, that one's going to be now taking the username and password, and now checking to see and now taking the password and hashing the password, right? That's where we hash it into using that SHA 256 out cybersecurity algorithm, where we hash the password into like random numbers and letters, which is impossible to sort of like hack or crack. So that's what the submit button is doing. And also, once it does that, before also doing that, it checks to see that the password isn't duplicated in the database. That means it doesn't already exist. Then it hashes it if it doesn't, and then it saves it in the database. So there's many things that the submit button is doing. So we also need to add the action listener to the submit button. So this is really, really important. Listener, again, remember, action listener means that when you click on the button, what is going to happen? That's really what it means. And this is how you set it up, okay? And you put a semicolon. That's all. Now let's do a quick test and let's see if this action listener thing is working. So go back to your done button action listener. We're going to use something called joptionpane.show message dialog. Okay, so this basically means that when they click on the done button, let's say that, and yeah, I put null because it usually what null means is like on what frame are you showing this. So you can actually put main panel, because that's where you're showing the button, right? It's going on that. So if you want, you can put that right here, or you can put null as you prefer. So here I'm going to put the message when the done button is clicked. What is it going to be saying? I'll say you have clicked the done button. Let's just do that for now, but this is really not what we want to do. And then let's do the same thing for the login. So I'm just going to copy this line, and this J option pane is like a pop-up message box that shows. So here will be you have clicked the login button, and then here will be that you have clicked the submit button. So you realize I'm just copy pasting and I'm like spacing it in. By the way, I like to do that because it's indentation. It goes inside of this, function. So here is you click the submit button. So essentially when these buttons are clicked, then these messages are supposed to pop up, right? So let's go back and let's test and see, first of all, if our background color is showing. Oh, by the way, did you apply? Don't forget to make sure that you're applying the set opaque and set color border painted for all of your like buttons. You've done that for the done button, but you have to change the names. I forgot to do that when I copy pasted it. It's the same thing, just so that you can show the background color. And if you don't want any border, this is not compulsory. This is really optional. And so same thing goes here, submit. Don't forget to change that. And also here as well. That's pretty much it. And then now go back to your console, and then run your VNC and see how everything is looking like so far. If the background color is showing right now. Oh, it is showing. By the way, I changed the background color. Look at that. It's showing beautifully. So I'm going to go back to the original color that I wanted. I forgot. Oh, I found it. I think it was this one. Let's go for 30, 145, 215. So 30. Go back to the top here because you're applying it for all of them. So it's going to apply for all of them, 145 and then 215. All right, so this is like the color, sort of the RGB. And now I'm going to come back and just go back to console, stop that clear past runs, go to workflow, run again. And you can see now that the background color is actually showing for the buttons because we did the set opaque. That's it. Now, when I click on done, boom, you see the message, you have clicked the done button. Okay. When I click login, you have clicked the login button. Okay. When I click submit, you have clicked the submit button. Okay. So they all work perfectly and all the buttons are here. And of course, the password and everything is here. So now we have to do it such that when we click the done button, um, we make the computer check to see that these are not blank, they're not left blank. So that's something we're going to be working on, when they click the done button, that these two are not left blank, and also that these two match each other because it's password confirm password when they click the done, and also that the password and the confirm password, obviously they match, that's one thing, but also they have to be less than 8, they should not be less than 8 characters. And you can add more and more checks. So that's pretty much it for this video. Try to make sure you have all this stuff done just before the class commences, or even after the class commences. It's important to just make sure you have all these things done. And of course, I'm just zooming out so you can see my whole stuff because obviously, when I zoom in, it sort of like hides these things because of the screen size and all that stuff. So you can always just zoom out if you want to see the whole thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy these little short tutorials, and I will see you back into the class. I'm going to go and stop this and we'll continue from where we stopped. Happy coding!